proteins, one thing I'm telling you, PRPC is a cellular prions protein found mainly in our nervous system, which is sensitive to PRPSC protein, which is actually the prions misfolded protein. Misfolded protein. So what I am going to tell you here, how PRPC is a protein found in a cell. Whenever PRPSC enter inside it, they causes the conformational change of this PRPC so that they become PRPSC and they aggregate to cause the disease. Now, I am showing you the life cycle pattern of the prions, where it is shown how actually prion proteins complete its life cycle. Now, I have to show you now. Wait, I am sharing the screen and you can see the video.
Several neurodegenerative diseases. Prion diseases are unusual because they appear to be caused by an infectious protein. The proposed mechanism of the disease is that the infectious protein catalyzes a conformational change in a normal protein so that it becomes the same as the infectious protein. According to the proposed mechanism, the normal protein is found in neurons in the PRPC conformation. In this conformation, the protein is harmless. The infectious protein conformation, PRPSC, is introduced to the neuron after the individual comes into contact with it in their food, or in rare cases from contact with bodily fluid of an infected individual. There are also some inherited cases where it appears that the PRPC can convert spontaneously to the PRPSC form at a low rate. However, the PRPSC form gets into the neuron. Once it is there, it contacts a PRPC protein and catalyzes its conversion to the PRPSC form. Once it is converted, it too can act to convert other protein molecules from the PRPC form to the PRPSC form. Over time, all of the PRPC proteins will be converted to the PRPSC form. Some PRPSC proteins are excreted from the cell and thus are able to spread to and infect other cells. PRPSC proteins accumulate to high levels over time. They are deposited as dense aggregates that are thought to be responsible for disease symptoms affecting the nervous system.
Okay, so I think now it's clear to you how the prions are attacking and how they get aggregated and cause the disease. So now we have to proceed towards the kingdom protista. I think already I discussed something about this, the groups.
Sir, up to Sir, up to the bioluminescence of dinoflagellates were discussed.
And another enzyme called luciferase. So what happens in bioluminescence? Luciferin binds to ATP so that luciferin ATP compound is formed. Under the influence of luciferase, enzyme plus lignite. So this is what oxygen is there. This is how light is produced actually. So this is what happens in any bioluminescent organism. Is it clear? Now, there are two most important, yes,
Sir, what is AMP?
adenosine monophosphate.
Oh,
Now, regarding the organisms under these, the common one is Goniaulus. Goniaulus, whenever it is accumulated in large numbers, the seawater turns red, and it is called responsible for red tide. Whenever Goniaulus accumulates in large amount, it causes the responsible for the red tide, and that's why red tide means actually seawater turns red in color due to the huge accumulation of Goniaulus in the seawater. And that's why which dinoflagellate is responsible for red tide? The answer should be Goniaulus. Remember this thing. Besides, Goniaulus secretes, whenever Goniaulus concentration is more, it secretes a toxin. It secretes a toxin, and this toxin is responsible for shellfish poisoning. Accumulated in the shellfish, when you are going to eat the shellfish means molas, then we will be infected with this shellfish poisoning. So this is what about the Goniaulus. Another example among the dinoflagellates is Noctiluca. It is also called nightlight. And similarly, due to why nightlight? Because due to the property of bioluminescence, whenever they are found to be present in large number in the pond, they are emitting light, and that's why the term comes nightlight. An important thing about Noctiluca is that it shows holozoic mode of nutrition. What? It shows holozoic mode of nutrition. So, this is what about in short about the dinoflagellates. Now we are proceeding towards the chrysophyte. Commonly they are actually called diatoms. And they are found in two forms, pinnate and centric diatom. So pinnate means here the cell wall appears to be like that of rectangular soap box. It is circular. It is rectangular. And here what happens? Suppose it's a box. And cell wall appears to be like the two is called the upper one. You can call it epitheca, and lower one you can call it hypotheca. Soap box এর মতো দেখতে হয়. One is called epitheca, the outer one. soap box যেমন থাকে উপরে হবে epitheca, নিচে হবে hypotheca. And this is the pinnate diatom. So it is, you can call it, and in this case, it is circular. Again, epitheca and hypotheca is there, but it is circular. So this is what about the cell wall. It is actually about the cell wall. Like that, a soap box made of two halves, and outer one the epitheca, and the inner one should be the hypotheca. Next point is
স্যার এপিথেটা কোনটা?
epitheca হচ্ছে এটা, the outer one. But the soap box যদি হয়ে গেল, তবে আমি showing you, if it is a soap box, then the outer one, that means this one should be epitheca and this one should be hypotheca. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
বুঝতে পেরেছো?
Yes, sir.
Now you see, silica is found to be deposited on the cell wall. And you know, so that if it is cell wall, during the deposition of silica, you will get some ornamentation like this here. Because silica is not evenly distributed, evenly deposited, so different types of ornamentation is found in the cell wall. Different types of ornamentation is found in the cell wall due to the deposition of silica. One thing. Secondly, due to the cell wall is almost indestructible. Cell wall is almost indestructible due to the deposition of silica. Silica as it is deposited, it will make the cell wall almost indestructible. So that after that, the cell wall just on the sea bed, there is huge deposition of siliceous cell wall of diatom. And do you know what it is called? Diatomite or so what happens, as I said earlier, due to the deposition of silica, the cell walls of diatoms are almost indestructible. So after that, these siliceous cell walls start deposited on the seabed, so that a huge structure is developed, and this is called diatomite or diatomaceous earth, and it has many uses nowadays. So what I said in chrysophytes, first of all, cell wall I said, depending on the type, it is pinnate diatom and centric diatom, and here two halves are there. On these halves, silica is found to be deposited, due to which different types of ornamentation is found, and sometimes it is also called jewels or proteins. Jewel bola hoy. Why it is called jewel? Due to this uneven ornamentation. Different types of ornamentations are found. And next you see, due to the silica deposition, the cell wall is almost indestructible, and you see, as they are indestructible, so they can be deposited and produce a huge heap of diatomite, and which has a lot of uses nowadays. What are the uses of this? First of all, you see, what happens here? You see, it acts as insulator. I am writing here. First of all, the role of diatomite. Acts as insulator, first thing. Second one, acts as cleaning agent. In toothpaste, Gaurav, mute karo. Gaurav, please mute karo. Agent in toothpaste and metal polishes. Acts as insulator, acts as this. Diatomite may be added to polishes or paints for increasing visibility. So acts as insulator, acts as cleaning agent, and added to paints to increasing visibility. In order to enhance night visibility. In order to enhance night visibility, what diatomite may be used. So they are the basic thing, and the most important point in case of diatomaceous earth. It may be used C4. It may be used to make soundproof rooms. So just another, actually what is it? Acts as insulator, acts as cleaning agent, may be added to paints for increasing night visibility, and may be used to make soundproof rooms. These are role of diatomite. So cell wall part is over. Next one, you know, diatoms are, next point, diatoms are autotrophs. Autotrophs, point two, autotrophs. Devoid of flagella. You need to remember this thing. First of all, autotrophs. And second most important thing is devoid of flagella. One most important question coming in the entrance. Diatoms are considered as main producer remember this thing. Main producer of the oceans. So this is what about the chrysophytes. Although sometimes you can divide chrysophytes into diatoms and desmids also. Sometimes it is dividing like this. Diatom and desmid. And in that case also the same thing which is unicellular actually. If I am going to discuss about the desmid, it is found to become unicellular. That means you can classify it like this. Almost same thing.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, autotrophs are devoid of flagellata. কোনটা part?
Autotrophs, one point. Under chrysophyte, earlier I discussed about the cell wall, having cell wall. And then it says what about the cell wall? Their second point is they are autotrophs. They can prepare their own food. Okay? And that's why they are considered the main producer of the ocean. And third characteristics of the diatoms is they are devoid of flagella. Are you getting now? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now you can classify chrysophytes like these also. Chrysophytes. One is diatoms. Second is desmids. Desmids are actually called golden LP. So diatoms are discussed. Regarding desmids, I will just say the unicellular desmid similar, it is unicellular with a number of protuberances in them. Other characteristics remain same. You will get the same silica deposition in both. So this is what about the chrysophyte. You need to remember 2-3 most important point here. Point number one. The most important thing is due to the deposition of silica on the cell wall, then a diatomite or diatomaceous earth is produced, which has a lot of functions. Point one. Point two, the cell wall is made of two halves, and they may be of two types. One is pinnate. Depending on the type of cell wall, there may be pinnate diatom or centric diatom. And in pinnate diatom, it may be like that of the rectangular soap box, where the outer covering may be termed as epitheca, inner covering may be termed as hypotheca. And in case of centric, it is circular actually. Then due to the deposition of silica, actually cell wall is indestructible. So after that diatoms may be deposited in a large amount and then forming the diatomaceous earth. Nextly, diatomaceous earth plays an important role sound in making soundproof rooms, acts as cleaning agent, increasing night visibility whenever added to the paints, everything. And lastly, they are the autotrophs and are the main producer of the ocean. Remember this thing? Actually, dinoflagellates and diatoms and euglenites, these three together form almost 80% of the photosynthesis in the world. Dinoflagellates, diatoms and euglenites together responsible for 80% photosynthesis of the world. Remember this thing. And then, so this is about the diatoms.
Sir,
Now, we have, yes.
স্যার কি বলেছো শুনিনি 80% যে ফটোসিনথেসিস
Actually, dinoflagellates, chrysophytes, and euglenites together called protystan algae. I think you know that, like I told you last day. And these protystan algae are responsible for 80% photosynthesis of the world. 80% photosynthesis of the world. Clear?
ইয়েস স্যার
Now we are proceeding towards the next one, the euglenites. Euglenites are the euglenized organisms and they are example euglena. What is appears like? You see, there are two flagella. But one is very short, other is long. So ultimately one flagellum is coming out. Here you will get some, you can call it contractile vacuole. Besides, you will get here the chloroplast. Most important thing is presence of chloroplast. First of all, here it is the this is the nucleus. They are the paramylum bodies, the reserve force. Flagellum. So here, this is the cell membrane. Cell membrane is there. Now, you see, in short, this is a diagram of the euglena. And the most important thing is, you see, although two flagella are generally developed, but ultimately one flagellum is coming out. Here the outer covering is the, what is called? Outer covering is the cell membrane. Okay. And sometimes a protein-made pellicle may be found outside it. The contractile vacuole plays an important role in osmoregulation. I think you know the term osmoregulation. Osmoregulation actually whenever to maintain ionic and water balance in the body. The process of maintaining ionic balance and water balance in the body is called osmoregulation. And so the contractile vacuoles are responsible for this. Now the chloroplast, first of all, nucleus is true nucleus. That means consists of nucleolus, chromatin reticulum, nuclear membrane, and nucleoplasm. Chloroplast, most important thing, you see, here you will get the similar pigment as found in the higher plants. Here you will get chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. Till we have seen chlorophyll A in cyanobacteria. In protists, we are getting chlorophyll A even in dinoflagellates, but chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B are not found in any other protist, but here in Eugenia you will get it. And this is the which is called pellicle, made of mainly made of protein. Besides, some of the carbohydrates and lipids are also found. So it's a character similar to the animals actually. In animal, also cell wall is not present. And you see here, chloroplast. Regarding chloroplast, it is similar to that of higher plants also. It is considered as a connecting link. It's a connecting link between plant and animal, sometimes called. Although it's a protist. Now, regarding the paramylum body, it's a carbohydrate actually, the reserve food. So what happens here? This is what about the euglia. Euglia is the most important thing. Nutrition, autotrophic, and saprobic. That means there is a mixture of autotrophic and saprobic nutrition. And that's why the mode is called, is the most important question coming in that there's mixotrophic nutrition. Mixotrophic nutrition means a mixture of autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Why mixotrophic? That means in the presence of light, it can prepare food by means of photosynthesis. because it has chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Pigments are there. And in the absence of light or in the dark, they may be responsible, they may take nutrition from dead and decaying matters. In the absence of light, in the dark, Yugvina may derive nutrition from dead and decaying matter. That's why the term used mixotropic. That is mixture of autotropic and subtropic nutrition. As the term comes, mixotropic nutrition. This is what about the Euglena. You need to remember this thing. So after Euglena, so the part of the protista algae completed. The part of protista algae completed. Now we proceed towards the other group. The slime molds. Yes, yes.
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল স্যার।
হ্যাঁ বলো বলো বলো।
স্যার এখানে লেখা যে সেরাটিয়ামে যে সেক্সুয়াল রিপ্রোডাকশন ইজ সেরাটিয়ামে
হ্যাঁ সেরাটিয়াম হ্যাঁ।
সেরাটিয়ামে সেক্সুয়াল রিপ্রোডাকশন ইজ অ্যানাইসোগ্যামাস। মানে কি?
ঠিক আছে। Oh, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। Actually, in terms of reproduction, you see. Okay, I'm showing you. So, if through diagram I can make you understand this thing. One gamete is very small and the other is quite large and compulsorily and sessile. So generally, this is the advanced type. Minimal you will get it. In some plants also, in lower plants, in protist, in some lower algae, in protist and in some lower algae, we are getting isogamy and anisogamy. In isogamy, the difference is that both may be sessile, both may be motile, both may be flagellated, but the difference is here both the gametes are equal in size and shape. Where is found both the gametes are equal in size and shape, then you can call it isogamy. When they are found to be unequal, slightly larger than the other, then it is anisogamy. When one gamete is very small, another is quite large and compulsorily sessile, then it is called ogamy. Among them, this is the advanced type, and these two are found anisogamy. You know now what is anisogamy? Who asked me? কে বলেছিলেন?
স্যার
হ্যাঁ
স্যার অ্যাডভান্স টাইপের লাস্টের একটা কি কোয়াইট লার্জের পরে
sessile মানে sessile means it cannot move. SESSILE বুঝছো? একেবারে জিজ্ঞেস করছে প্রশ্নটা অ্যানাইসোগেমি।
হ্যাঁ স্যার আমি
হ্যাঁ ক্লিয়ার
হ্যাঁ স্যার ক্লিয়ার স্যার
Okay. Now we are proceeding towards the next one.
স্যার আমি এটা লিখ
হ্যাঁ কোনটা
আমি একটু লিখ
কোনটা লিখিস নি? হ্যালো বলো। They are going to slime mold. They are also called saprophytic protists. That means they derive nutrition from dead and decayed matter. Slime molds Plasmodial slime mold. Other is so regarding slime mold, first of all you need to understand one thing. They are basically saprophytic in nature and found in dead and decayed leaves. They are found in the area in the forest where you will see them dead and decayed leaves are available. Where dead and decayed leaves are available in those areas in the forest, slime molds are available. Actually, if you see the plasmodial slime mold, it appears like almost orange or golden brown in color. দেখলে মনে হবে is a vomit product of the dog. কুকুর বমি করতে যেমন হয় এমন দেখতে হয় plasmodial slime mold. And what happens in them? Initially, what happens? That a plasmodium is developed. That means it's a plasmodium. That means it is multicellular. It is called plasmodium of slime mold. And what is the basic point of the plasmodium here? It is multinucleate and actually it is protected by it is covered by slime, has a term called slime mold. So it's a multinucleate body. This plasmodium is a multinucleate body and which is actually covered by slime, hence it is called slime mold also. Then what happens in it? Under favorable condition, what happens to the plasmodium? You see some fruit fibers, some sporangia develop from here. Sporangia are developed. So, this called after that they become mature. Called mature fruiting body also. Then from it, gradually some spores are developed here. When they become mature, spores are released. Wall is broken down, spores are released. Then the spores forming myxamoeba. They either form myxamoeba or they form they are called swarm cells. What are they called? They are called swarm cells. So what I say, Plasmodium is the main body, vegetative body.
Sir,
At maturity, at maturity, huh?
স্যার ওই মেচিউরের নিচে এটা কি লেগেছে স্যার?
একটু আমি বলছি দাদা। Swarm cell, SWARM, swarm, CELL cell.
mature এর মধ্যে?
হ্যাঁ
স্যার থার্ড পয়েন্টটা ম্যাচিউর।
আচ্ছা আমি সপ্তাহ ম্যাচিউর ফ্রুটিং বডিজ, fruiting bodies, fruiting bodies. Now you see, I'm just repeating it. The plasmodium is the vegetative body. It is found to be multinucleated and covered by slime. From this plasmodium at maturity, some what will happen? Some structure like develop like that of sporangial-like structure. These sporangia-like structures are actually called the fruiting body. Gradually they become mature. Whenever fruiting body become mature, within this fruiting body spores are formed. What are formed? Spores are formed. These spores may give rise to myxamoeba, either like gamete called myxamoeba, or they may form swarm cells. Wherever they form myxamoeba, then also the myxamoeba attach to form the zygote. Even when swarm cells are there, two swarm cells will be forming the zygote. So myxamoeba may behave like gamete to form zygote, or if it is swarm cell, they also behave like gamete to form the zygote. That means either myxamoeba or swarm cell form, whatever form, eventually they will form the zygote. Okay.
Sir?
After that, these
Sir?
zygotes start dividing. Wait. To form the young plasmodium, divide and redivide. That's why they become. Oh, sorry, not visible. Wait a minute. Zygote visible, huh? Then the plasmodium, mature plasmodium. হ্যাঁ বলো বলছিলে
স্যার
হ্যাঁ
স্যার সোয়াম সেলের ডায়াগ্রামটা বুঝতে পারছি না।
সোয়াম সেলের ডায়াগ্রামটা বুঝতে পারছো না? ওই দেখাচ্ছি একটু বড় করে। সোয়াম সেল, এবার ওয়ান। Morgan in the waiting room. It is a fusion of two mixed amoeba, zygote. And a fusion of two swarm cells. Here is fusion of two swarm cells. What do you mean? Union of two swarm cells. It has fusion of two mixed amoeba. But the fusion of two mixed amoeba. Then we get the zygote. Then young plasmodium. Then the mature plasmodium. Independent. But they are just present together to form the pseudoplasmodium. But in case of plasmodium, a whole body is developed, a unique body is developed in case of plasmodium. But here, what you can say, actually the aggregated form of a number of plasmodium. The plasmodium aggregate actually, where everyone's identity is maintained. Where every single mixed amoeba is maintained, and hence the term comes pseudoplasmodium. And then what happens next? This pseudoplasmodium gradually from here, germination starts, and eventually a substratum is developed. A sporangium-like structure is developed. So a sporangium is ultimately developed. So within the sporangium, again you will get the from here you will get the spores. And these spores, you know, whatever this thing, they may aggregate to form the forming mixed amoeba, okay, and they aggregate to form the, that means spores, then mixed amoeba number increases, and eventually again pseudoplasmodium is formed. This is one type. Look, there is no sexual reproduction here. Sporangium is formed, sporangium spores are developed, spores all are haploid actually here because there is no scope of union. And if, that's what it is said, in case of cellular slime mold, actually the sexual reproduction is debatable. Whether sexual reproduction occurs or not is actually debatable here. That's why it says spores may give rise to mixed amoeba, and which may again form the pseudoplasmodium. So in this case, there is sexual reproduction is missing actually. But according to some other, they form some mixed amoeba. Some mixed amoeba is controversial, may take part in sexual reproduction. But this part is controversial. According to some, these mixed amoeba may behave like gametes and take part in sexual reproduction. That means the central mixed amoeba.
Sir,
Tell
sir
me.
আগের ডায়াগ্রামে তো দেখালে মিক্স আমিবা জাইগোট ফর্ম করছে।
But here it is not. Here this mixed amoeba may take part in reproduction, sexual reproduction, may not take part in sexual, because here zygote may not be developed, sexual reproduction may be absent. Look one thing. Because the whole is a haploid body. Here is not a diploid body. So it is possible in this way. Mostly it is occurring like this. But according to some others, The mixed amoeba may behave like gametes. In that case, they may give rise to zygote. Then it undergoes meiotic division. To form some small segments first, which in turn form mixed amoeba, and they form this. So, but this part is controversial. Is it clear to you? This part is actually controversial. So, whether it is happening or not. That's why I am showing you both these parts. Generally, sports may form mixed amoeba, which in turn gives rise to the pseudoplasmodium again. According to some others, some mixed amoeba may behave like gamete. For some other mixed amoeba may behave like gamete. If they behave like gamete, then obviously they will form the zygote. This zygote will undergo meiosis to form small segments, capillary segments, forming mixed amoeba again, and this mixed amoeba to aggregate to form pseudoplasmodium again. This is about the life cycle pattern in case of cellular slime mold. So I think it is clear to you the difference between plasmodium and pseudoplasmodium. Is it clear? Moreover, plasmodium is the somatic body. Plasmodium is the somatic body of Plasmodia slime mold. But pseudoplasmodium is actually a body developed due to the aggregation of a number of mixed amoeba, where each mixed amoeba maintains its own identity. It is not a single body. So this is what about the cellular slime mold. I think after slime mold is clear. In the next class, I am to complete the sporozoa, then to start the plant kingdom. But this class I am to complete in the next part of this one, you will get an exam. Okay, you will get ready, and that's all for today. And again, we have to meet and pass. Thank you very much.